A couple months ago, I made a somewhat melancholic, reflective video about moving from my old flat to my new house. You may remember in that video I filmed in this room right here, and I was surrounded by bare walls and piles upon piles of boxes. And so I thought it might finally be time to do a little office tour to show you how I'm getting on in the new place. The tour begins now. Our first stop on this tour is the sofa. You may remember in my old office, I had a sort of a mezzanine bed area. A really cool space. Nothing quite beats that, but this comes close. Well, it doesn't really come that close. It's a sofa. But it's not just great, it's Sofa King great. I got it from this guy called the Sofa King. He knows everything about sofas. He hooked me up with the right butt density. He knew a lot about butt density, a frightening amount about butt density. What I will say though is it's not an ordinary sofa. It does indeed fold out Transformers style into a little bed in case we have guests over, which at the minute because of the situation we're not doing. But when the situation is over, we've been doing these Discord movie nights and it's proven to be very comfy in these trying times. Brew up a green tea, pop yourself a bag of corn, you're good to go, baby. Next, I want to show you the wall. Now, you will have seen this wall in the background of streams and videos, but it is always changing. It is constantly in flux. It's a very modular wall. The reason for that is because of my block pegboard. I keep changing it up and moving things around. I've got a few practical things on there, notebooks, pens. I'm also displaying my childhood NZAP, my Zapper, my Nintendo Zapper, as well as a beautiful array of amiibos. And also, in 2018, I was invited to go to Sanrio's headquarters in Japan, and the creator of Gudetama drew me that. And I think it's just got to be one of the coolest, most unique things I own. As for artwork on the wall, I have this Metaton poster, which you would have seen in a bunch of videos in my old flat. I've got this Godzilla artwork over here, which I'm actually looking to replace now. I like the colors and I like the style and everything, but I think I'm just looking to change it up a bit. But my newest artwork that I really love, and you'll have to forgive me because I don't have the artist's name on me right now, but it's this one over here. I really love the style of the characters and the minimal color scheme. As soon as I saw it, I was like, hey, I want that on the wall. I also have a framed Katamari print sitting on the shelf. I have a real big soft spot in my heart for Katamari, so I had to get something Katamari themed. And then just slightly above the pegboard, we have the shelf of 1,000 figurines. You don't need to count them, but just trust me, there's roughly 1,000 figurines up there. I'm actually trying to reduce the amount of figurines I've got. I'm trying to tidy the place up a bit so it looks less cluttered, but it's a little tricky to do that, you know. I've just got a selection of colorful things that spark joy in my life when I look at them. This here is the sideboard of 1,000 dreams. Why is it called the sideboard of 1,000 dreams? Well, when I have a wonderfully lucid dream, I'll pluck it out of my head and I'll plop it in there for good keeping. That was actually a nightmare I had when I was a child. Don't worry about that. What else is the sideboard used for? Well, good question. I use this as kind of a quick grab station, mainly for kits and stuff when I'm filming. Rather than fully packing it all away, I just store the essential bits in here, and then when I need to do some filming, I just grab it quickly and go. It's a quick grab and go station. Furthermore, you may have seen these little chappies hanging out. These are figurines of Mario and Luigi from the Super Mario Brothers movie. You may be thinking, what? There's a Super Mario Brothers movie? Yes, there's a Super Mario Brothers movie. Perhaps we need to discuss that in another video entirely. But I like to keep them there, hanging out as brothers. I wanted to keep the top a little minimal because I know Fuji likes to sleep on here sometimes. Fuji is my kitten, by the way, in case you weren't aware. So I've just got my Super Mario Brothers, a lava lamp, and one of my favorite statues of Vice from Skies of Arcadia. It is absolutely one of those. Next, we come to one of the most important, most powerful parts of this entire room, and that is, yes, of course, my little adorable shelf. Look at that. Got a little cactus, got a couple of Japanese schoolgirls flipping me off. I think it's just important to stay grounded, and that really helps. I also have one of my favorite graphic novel art books up here. It is called The Adventures of a Japanese Businessman, and it's a wild ride. I'd recommend it. And then next to that, I've got a bunch of Japanese SNES games. This is just the Japanese shelf, I've realized. It's a collection of some of my favorite games on the Super Nintendo, but also ones that I loved the box art for of the Japanese releases. And above that, of course, you know this big boy from my old office, my Super Metroid poster. I love it still. Don't know why I would stop loving it. And just below the shelf, I've got this dual monitor PC setup. I mean, I'll admit, due to past terrible experiences using Windows, I used to be a non-believer. I used to not understand the raw power of a PC. Now I get it. This is a super integral piece of the puzzle when it comes to streaming, art, gaming. It's a beast. And I love it. I have my tower sitting just below the desk, and for those of you who don't know or care much about the innards of a PC, there are lots of colorful lights, so that's always nice to look at. And if you do know things about computers, then you probably know what parts I have by just looking inside it, so there you go. I've got a pretty simple desk setup. I don't like my desk area to be too messy or full of garbaggio, so I've just got a keyboard and mouse, obviously, a Go XLR for streaming, and a Stream Deck for streaming. I also opted to mount my 2 monitors on the wall because I wanted to try and clear up as much desk space as possible. I thought it would help eliminate headaches, and ironically, it induced one of the worst migraines I've ever had. Oh boy, it was the worst. Basically, I've not done much masonry work in my lifetime, so when I was drilling into the walls to make these gigantic holes to get the monitors in, the brickwork of this house is very thick, strong, burnt brick. So to get through it basically put me in a state of sweating, nausea, migraine. I had to sleep for the rest of the day. This is no exaggeration. Anyway, now that they're on the walls, we're all good. I've also got my Sony mirrorless camera set up here, again, for the streams. It's simple and minimal, and it cooperates with me, so I cooperate with it. That's right, I've got a bit of a system with inanimate objects. If they don't respect me, then I sure as hell don't respect them. What do I mean by that? Moving on. This particular corner of the room has been a bit of a nightmare since I've moved in. Up until a couple of days ago, I was really struggling to make it functional and also presentable. It's got a ton of function, don't get me wrong. We built these shelves in the wall here to make the most use out of this little alcove in the wall. But it was just so messy. It was like the dumping ground of the room. But I thought, no more dumping. From this day forward, I will dump no more. So I've tidied it up, I've organized it. I got rid of my old industrial ass looking shelf that was here and replaced it with a bit of a nicer one. And then back here, my shelves are full of books, camera equipment. I've got an Oculus Rift for VR type things. In this gray case here, I've got a graphics tablet, which you may think I'm not utilizing the space as best I could by laying it down flat. Well, that is where you would be wrong. You see, Fuji, for some reason, loves to sleep on my graphics tablet case. So that is now her spot. Yeah, I'm that kind of person now. What are you gonna do about it, huh? You gonna steal my cat? Please don't steal my cat. Whilst I said that I now understand and fully utilize the power of Windows, that does not mean I have fully given up on Mac. I still do a majority of my video and photo editing on my Mac. I like having both a PC and a Mac because it means I can choose the most appropriate machine for whatever project I'm doing. As for the desk, it is definitely on the smaller side of desks. It's a very petite looking desk. And so I like to keep it as minimal as possible, as you can see. I've slowly been trying to get this room towards a place of less clutter. Still, look, there's still some clutter. One man's clutter is another man's amiibos, all right? Like I said, I like having colorful things around the room that spark joy and creativity in my life, whether that's graphic novels, comics, figurines, plushies, things that I like. We all have things that we like and we put them around us to make us function. And I think that's what makes all human beings so wonderfully unique, is that we all have different methods of how we like to work, what kind of room we like to surround ourselves in. What works for me may not work so much for you, and that's totally, absolutely not okay. Everybody should be a clone of me. I need to write to the government about this immediately. Hello? I would like everybody to be me, please. And send. I haven't left the house in a really long time, guys. Now, this here is actually one of my favorite parts of the office. This is a large wooden device on hinges that allows me to exit and enter the room as I please. I call it a door. Other people might call it something else, but I think it's a really nifty feature. Without it, this room wouldn't necessarily work. It wouldn't work at all, actually. And so that pretty much concludes this office tour. I hope you enjoyed having a little peek around my office space. I realized that I didn't go into depth about all of the little specifications and things about the equipment I use and things like that, but this video was more about giving you a feel for the vibe of the room. If you do have any questions for me though, please do leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to get back to you. But for now, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you very much for watching this video, everybody. If you enjoyed it, please do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe if you're new around here, and also hit that notification bell so you get updates of when I upload a dang video. Take care, everybody, stay safe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.